Let's talk about the money. My name is Shania, just Shania Banton, and I have been a filmmaker for the past 11 years, and I have been a full-time director, writer, and producer for going on 3 years. On today's OnSet Talk, I'm ready to talk about the money, the shmoolah, the coin, the dollar, the dime, the cash, the all of that, okay? Have I made money from indie filmmaking? Yes. Have I made a lot of money from indie filmmaking? Yes. Have I made a sustainable amount of income from filmmaking? I mean, I've been sustaining for the past 3 years, so maybe? I want to start this video by being completely transparent and honest. Throughout my entire career, people have consistently saw me promote and talk about being a filmmaker because I never talked about my 9-to-5 job, but I've worked at multiple corporations. I've had 6-figure salaries. I was making money at a 9-to-5, but what they were seeing was my 5 to 9. So I think a lot of the times when I would get requests and questions and all of these things, it came from people thinking or assuming that what they saw in my life came from filmmaking. No, ma'am. It came from corporate. It came from corporate. It wasn't until probably like year 7 or 8 in my filmmaking career where I actually started to make money off of my own stuff. No, I'm lying. I actually made money based off of my first project, but sustainable money. It wasn't until like my 7th or 8th year until I started actually having sustainable money from my creations. And it wasn't even sustainable enough for me to leave my corporate job. It wasn't. I promise you it wasn't. It all depends on what you need to sustain because it's so sporadic, and that's for every single hat you wear in this industry. Every person working in filmmaking right now, it's all sporadic. These are not corporations. The only people who have a job are the people hired with a salary at those studios, at those streaming networks, at those places. If you are on the other side, if you are on the production side of things, it is sporadic. It is entirely sporadic. So please do not think that I'm going to drop some type of secret onto how you can make a livable wage and quit your job and become a full-time filmmaker. There is no secret to it. There is no formula. There is no nothing. It is different for everybody. But these are just some of the ways that you can make money as an indie filmmaker. The number one way to get paid as an indie filmmaker, of course, is to be paid to create. So that means whether you're a writer, whether you're a director, whether you're a producer, whether you're anything on any form of production, you get paid for your service. So if somebody pays you or hires you to write them a script, if somebody pays you and hires you to direct their project, if somebody pays you and hires you to produce their project, that is a service. That is an even exchange of things. That is the number one way to get paid as a creative. You want to get booked and hired on different jobs. There is no formula to how you get booked and hired on a job. It's literally the same way like applying to day jobs. The only difference is there is no website for you to apply to these jobs. They find you. So it's truly like actually being recruited. You have to figure out how to get recruited. So the same way you would build up your resume and build up your name and build up your presence on LinkedIn, on Indeed, or any of those platforms so that recruiters can find you, you need to be doing the same thing in your filmmaking work. Build up your resume, build up your name, build up your recognition so that recruiters can find you. And then there's also different ways. People post stuff in Facebook groups, they post stuff online. They always do open calls for a lot of these positions. So just stay tapped into those Facebook groups, stay tapped into those networks that people can call you when the time comes. Majority of below the line and honestly some above the line jobs all come from word of mouth and previous experience. People who are gaffers, grips, DPs, all of that, it comes from I worked with a guy, I know a guy, this guy loved working with me. Especially if you're below the line and on the cam and G&E team, if you work really well with the team that the DP put together, you likely will get called back. You will become a part of their team. If you're a director, people are going to be searching for your work, your previous work. They want to see what your vision is. That is how you get those jobs. If you're a producer, same thing. What projects have you produced? What have you produced that has successfully seen the light of day, that people know that you're able to take projects from conception to completion? So you want to build up your same resume in the filmmaking world. Let's say you have already been paid for your services and now you have a project. You're sitting on this project. How do I make money from this project? I just spent however many thousands of dollars paying for this project to be made. How do I get an ROI? How do I get a return on my investment? One way that you can do that is selling your film rights. It's not a common way, especially for indie filmmakers. It's a least common way, but it is a way. They'll either give you a flat lump sum and now they own the story, they own the film, and they're able to develop it in every which way that they want to. In addition to that, they're able to expand on it. But there's things that you would put in that selling of the rights contract that also make you money, such as if they decide to do a spinoff on this, you would negotiate how much of that spinoff you will either own and or have a percentage of. What will your residuals look like? All of these things go into the contract that you will develop with whomever is buying your film right. But again, that is not a common way. Now, one of the most common ways that indie filmmakers make money from their completed projects is through licensing deals. Majority of these streaming platforms platforms, not the big ones like Netflix, majority of the indie streaming platforms that you're seeing, whether that be the Tubies, the Amazon Prime Videos, I'm talking about the ones that accept the side of Amazon Prime Video that a lot of people don't see because it's not marketed, but the side that have indie projects on it. The Quelly TVs of the world, Revolt TV, Fox Screening Room, all of these platforms are licensing deals. Now, licensing deals can be paid out in one of three ways. The first one will be an upfront fee. They will pay you an upfront licensing fee to license your film for at least 1 year, 2 years. They'll set that you will negotiate the terms out with them. I'll tell you now, those licensing fees are not fat. It depends too on the platform. If we're talking about a Comcast, you may be looking at 5 figures. But if you're talking about a Revolt TV or Fox Screening Room, you may be looking at $0 or maybe some 4 figures. It is not a wad of money, and I promise you it's probably not what you paid to make the film. But it is a way for you to make money off of it, and most of those agreements are non-exclusive, meaning you can make money elsewhere with that film. Another pay model for licensing deals with your indie film is AVOD, which is ad revenue. So these streaming platforms will have some form of advertising revenue set up on your film, and you will get paid a portion of that ad revenue, similar to YouTube, but we'll get to that in a second. AVOD models have no guarantee because it's all based on ad revenue, not necessarily based on viewership. The next model is SVOD, which is the subscription revenue base, and that is all based off of the subscriptions that they get. If they get a certain amount of subscriptions all tied to your film, a lot of them have there's formulas for AVOD and SVOD, but those formulas, again, there's no guarantee because it is entirely user and or ad revenue based. So you don't necessarily know how much money you're gonna get, and there may be different terms as to when you can receive that money. Right now, for example, with streaming platforms that I'm on, I receive a lot of things on a quarterly basis, and that is based on a viewership model because they have their own internal formula for how they pay out their creators, and that is based off of viewership and watch minutes, which is also similar to YouTube.